Prologue. Deep in a remote part of the United States stood the Blackwood Grand Hotel, an old but infamous place. Built in 1923, it was once a thriving establishment, but by the 1970s, strange incidents began occurring. Over time, it gained a dark reputation. Guests who stayed there either disappeared or went insane. The most notorious part of the hotel was room 306. Many claimed that anyone who stayed there would experience terrifying visions, or worse, vanish without a trace. For years, the room remained locked, but in 2023, the hotel's new owner, Ethan Carter, decided to reopen it. Lena Thompson, a well-known journalist famous for investigating paranormal phenomena, learned that the Blackwood Grand Hotel had reopened and that room 306 was available for booking. "This is my chance," she thought. Determined to uncover the truth, she arrived at the hotel, where the manager James Wilkins greeted her at the reception. "James, are you sure you want to stay in room 306, Miss Thompson? Everyone who has stayed there has seen strange things." Lena, smiling. "That's exactly why I'm here. I need to see it for myself." Reluctantly, James handed her the key. The hotel had an eerie atmosphere. The dimly lit hallways were lined with old paintings, some depicting faceless people. The wooden staircase creaked under her feet, and faint whispers echoed through the corridors. As soon as Lena stepped into the room, she felt a sudden chill. The room was grand, featuring a Victorian-style bed, deep red curtains, and polished wooden floors. But something felt wrong. The air was thick, almost suffocating. That night, the disturbances began. At 1:06 a.m., the room clock stopped on its own. Moments later, a scratching noise came from behind the door, slow, deliberate, like nails dragging across the wood. Summoning her courage, Lena opened the door. No one was there. But when she turned to look at the mirror, a tall, shadowy figure stood behind her, faceless, eyeless. Heart pounding, she spun around. Nothing. Breathing heavily, she grabbed her camera and started recording. The next morning, Lena visited the hotel's library to research room 306. She discovered that in 1954, a woman named Margaret Holloway had stayed in that very room. She had supposedly committed suicide, but many believed she was murdered. Rumors swirled that Margaret's husband was an occultist who had sacrificed her in a dark ritual. Lena searched deeper and found an old diary, Margaret's. One of the entries read, "I see him. The dark figure visits me every night. He whispers in my ears. And soon, I know, he will take me too." Lena now understood. Room 306 was cursed, and something was still trapped inside it. That night, the terror escalated. The lights flickered, the windows rattled, and Lena's camera switched on and off by itself. Then, a cold, invisible hand brushed against her skin. Red scratch marks began appearing on her arms. Terrified, she ran for the door, only to find it locked from the outside. A whisper echoed in the darkness. "You cannot leave. You belong to me now." Frozen with fear, she screamed. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, the door burst open on its own. She sprinted down to the reception, gasping for breath. James and the hotel staff looked at her pale, shaking form. Lena stammered, "Something is in that room." James simply sighed and said, "We warned you." The next day, Lena left the hotel and contacted the police. But when investigators arrived, room 306 appeared completely normal. No scratches, no broken lights, nothing. Yet when Lena reviewed her camera footage, her blood ran cold. The video showed her body levitating above the bed, her limbs twisting unnaturally as a shadowy figure loomed over her. The footage went viral. A few months later, the Blackwood Grand Hotel was permanently shut down. Room 306 was sealed forever. But to this day, passers-by claim that if you walk near the abandoned hotel at night, you can still hear a faint whisper, "You cannot leave."